That must be what makes a performer. And I'm like, no. Who's ever worked with somebody who got paid a lot but was a lazy ass? Anybody ever? I'm like, don't tell me years or high pay directly correlates to high performance when we all know somebody who had it all and sat on the couch. Now you have to check yourself with your excuses, because those things don't matter as much as we think. Also, what I remind people is your strengths don't matter as much as you think. And this is important. Strengths are important, but high performers don't report working on their strengths any more than anybody else does. So that's not the difference maker. And in fact, very few high performers are so concerned about themselves. Like, I better just do what I'm good at. No, because you have to do things that you're not good at to get ahead. You have to master things that are hard and difficult. And high performers don't say, what are my strengths, as much as they ask that question up there. What is required to be of service here? And how can I grow into that? That's the question of leaders. Not what am I good at, but what's required here. Let's show up, let's figure it out. You and me, let's work together. We can figure this out, let's go. That's leadership, and that's what Stream does up in here, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. How do you grow in that? So this inevitably leads people to say, well, okay, got it. So what matters the most? Just 6 habits. Only 6 things matter the most in changing your life. Only 6 things matter the most across data from 190 countries around the world. You master these 6 things, we know from a science backing that these are the things that make all the difference in the world. You want to change? Write these things down. You ready? You ready?
Yes.
First habit, number 1, seek clarity. High performers seek clarity more often than underperformers. You're like, all the build up for that? Hold on. Here's what this means. A lot of people bumble into an area and they just try to figure things out, but they don't ask any questions. High performers aren't the most confident or the smartest, they just ask more questions. Some of you sit at home all week and you're unsure of what to do when the person to your left or right is right there. You got their cell phone. You don't even call them. You don't even ask. You keep getting stuck and you go silent. If you keep getting stuck and you go silent, we can predict you will underperform and earn less than everybody else around you who raises their hand and goes, hey, I don't get it. And this is good for me for a Montana kid because I was super dumb. So I just be like, can you explain that again? Can you tell me what to do? I was always willing to ask for help because I was dumb. It's a good thing because who knew that would become so critical. But it's not just seeking clarity by asking more questions, because high performers do ask more questions. They don't suffer alone, they get instruction, they get clarity. Who's learned something from somebody who came up on the stage who inspired you this week? Yeah? Then don't go home and disrespect them by not asking for more help. Don't go home and disrespect you or your family by not asking for help. And I know that sounds flippant, but listen, I gotta tell you this, because after looking at all of this research and touring the world, I meet so many people who have so much potential and it's all trapped inside. They never even speak up and ask for help. They don't get clear. And listen, no clarity, no change. No goals, no growth. You need to start your week more clear about what you're going after. Stop bumbling into so many days going, let me figure it out. Plan more, think more, be more strategic. That type of clarity is important. But here's the thing I found that holds most people back. Their clarity is tied to their past. You know, that picture I showed you where I grew up, you can't see it, but there's an empty lot next door. There's blight of apartment houses all around. Grew up in a very violent, very addicted, very difficult culture where no one really had any money and no one really seemed to want to get out. We had one famous person in our entire area, a guy named Evel Knievel. He's from Butte, Montana, my hometown. He was the only one who seemed to want to get out of there. He wanted to kill himself, but you know, he was jumping over things and doing. But I think, you know, I took that picture the year after my car accident, went back to where I grew up because I wanted to rewire my brain, because I'd been reading all these books about your thoughts dictate the future, and I realized my thoughts sucked. My thoughts were trapped in my past and where I was from. And here's how you know. Because sometimes if you can't see tomorrow, because all you do is see the bills today, you don't have clarity yet. Sometimes all you see is what's in front of you right now or where you came from, and your current competencies are stopping you from having that bigger dream, that bigger vision for you and your family. And so I just tell you, never limit your vision for yourself and your family based on your current circumstances. I don't care how hard it is, how brutal it is, how bad you feel now. Do not get stuck at looking to the page of today when you got a bunch of blank pages in the chapters ahead. Do not forget you are stronger than you think, and the future holds good things for everybody in this room, ladies and gentlemen. Every one of us. You got to have clarity beyond your circumstances. That's the trick. Clarity beyond the circumstances. Because you know what the opposite is you're just trying to survive. Because that's what people do. They focus so much on, I gotta survive now, I gotta survive now. They got no dream that pulls them forward each day. And so they keep getting trapped in the distractions of today. Because listen, you know when distractions always win? When you're just trying to survive. That's when it happens. Well, I got enough to get by, I can survive. I grew up in a town where anyone could survive on anything. That ultimately became my problem. I was like, I'm fine with just a burrito once in a while. I can make it by. Sometimes because your ability to survive, just getting by, just making it by, that's cheating you from dreaming bigger and going after. But now, in a room like this, in an arena like this, it's time to look around and look at all the seats up there and over there and expand your vision for your family again. It's time. It's your time to give yourself that gift, to see a bigger future, and to believe in it and feel it and look beyond what happened yesterday or today. It's your time. You deserve a bigger future for your family again, and sometimes they can't see it, and they'll think you're crazy for even being here, and your friends will think you're crazy for even being here. Don't let them and their lack of clarity for your opportunity blind you from that vision. Can I get an amen on a Saturday?
Amen.
You gotta see beyond. I mean, look at me, the kid from Montana. I'll show you some pictures, and I'm not bragging unless you're from Montana. I'm definitely bragging with you from Montana, because it's like, I never could have imagined, if I only saw my life, and listen, what if my vision was boxed in that house I grew up in? What if I never saw beyond the block I grew up on? We wouldn't be here. I never would get to work with, mentor, and coach the people who I looked up to, like people who move the needle of the world, the legends of this world. I would never have gotten to meet them. Like I wanted to learn to speak because where I grew up, no one really communicated well, and Larry King was the world's great communicator. I said, one day I'll work with him. I was a mad and angry and sad young man. I said, I want to meet the Dalai Lama one day and work with him. I never knew I'd get to work with Miss Oprah Winfrey. Never knew that, not from the town I grew up in, but she never imagined she would get where she was from that girl barefoot in Mississippi. And I've had that blessing of working with her multiple times in my life. We did a course together for the Oprah Winfrey Network, a kid from Montana. I never knew I'd get to meet billionaires and presidents. That's Branson and Clinton. And if they're too liberal for you, I got these other guys too. But I don't show those because if I'm going to brag about a picture, there is one. And that's my favorite picture. That's my mom and my dad. Woo! And that's it, right? What do you do it for? You know? What do you do it for? And I always tell people, success counts the most when your clarity and your belief allows you to give back to your family. Take it seriously here. You didn't know it, but you came in this room to get reset about your beliefs about what's possible for you and your family. You might not have known that was what was going to happen, but I hope that's happening for you, because if you can reset your clarity for a bigger vision, everything can change. So turn to the person to the left or right, grab their shoulders, shake them and say, get a bigger vision. Shake them.
Get a bigger vision. Get a bigger vision. Get a bigger.
Habit number 2. You guys are kind of good at this. You guys are kind of good at this one. You're kind of good at this one.
Thank you. Get a bigger
High
vision.
performers generate energy, baby. Everything in their heart and soul generates energy. They care for their energy because they know their energy is directly tied to their success, and it's a fact that is undeniable. Did you know high performers work out 5 days per week, 47 times percent more than an average performer? You better believe it. I know. And listen, it's not that they're like going crazy and posting their abs every day, but they are very conscious. They are very conscious of their energy. Like everything else, I learned this from the research, but my life was this too. Some of you guys were with me on social media maybe when in 2011 I had my brain injury. I wrecked a four-wheeler while I was out with friends, and I snapped my wrist, broke my ribs, threw out my hip, dislocated my shoulder, and I thought I was lucky. I was like, well, that sucks, but I healed. And then a couple months later, my life started falling apart because I didn't know I had a concussion. And then it got really severe and turned into a traumatic brain injury. And there was months where I was just mean to people. And I'd always been the nicest kid. And I would just get like upset and anxious and nervous, and like my emotions would completely flip on a dime. And I'd be mean to my wife. I'd do a big seminar, a huge event, thousands of people. I'd walk off stage, I would feel fulfilled. Like my energy for joy in life had gone away. And I always tell audiences that because, hey, if any of you have fallen down or you got hurt recently and you feel like your life is kind of falling apart, you might have not known you hurt yourself. And make sure you go get a doctor and make sure you get a brain scan and just check. Because concussions are ruining a lot of people's lives. It happened to me. But guess what? You also can't just go, oh, poor me. I knew something was off, so I did everything to change my energy. Because I think we have to remember this. You have to be responsible for the energy you're projecting in the world. Your kids see you if you're always tired. And now, they role model you and they're going to live a tired life. Your team feels it if every time you get on the call, okay, Sarah, how'd you do this week? Like your joy is either going to light up this world or your boredom is going to turn it off. Who's pumped to be in this room right now, ladies and gentlemen? Be responsible. I mean, who knows an absolute jerk who is not responsible for their energy? Anyone ever know that person? Yeah, whose fault is that? Jerks always blame everybody else, but a jerk is a jerk and their energy is their energy. Don't let their energy invade your energy. You protect your energy and you decide each day, what do you want your energy to be about? What kind of attitude do you want to have? What kind of energy do you want to project and show to the children and the people that you lead and serve? You need to be responsible for that. Listen, if I have one defining metaphor in my life, it's the life's golden ticket metaphor. We all get second chances. The second one is a simple thing we learned when we were young about like how energy works. And I love to tell this because I think it really resonates with this group. It's that old idea that the power plant doesn't have energy, it generates energy. For the geeks in the room like me, actually it transforms energy. Well, let's go with it for a minute. Because here's what happens. A power plant takes energy from one source that's of lower caliber, and it transforms it and transmits it to a higher utilization. Am I right? Okay, God, I hope I got that right in front of this group. Thank you, sir. Woo! Okay, one guy, you and me, brother. Barbecue and beer on me, thank God. Okay. But you gotta know, is the world's energy controlling you? Or can you take that negativity and spin it up into something positive for yourself and your family? Because you know what? If the haters are winning over you, it's not the haters' fault. It's you. You got to own that energy and take back control of it and not apologize for it, not play small. How you are, I mean, can I feel your energy as a human when I meet you? Or did you power down so much because you got hurt or sad or discouraged? You got to revisit that at every stage of your life, not just when you turn 30, 40, 50, 60, or 70, or when there's a zero. Today, you have to learn to bring the joy back in. High performers do everything they can, from how they eat, to how they work out, to how they plan their sleep, to have the energy so that they have the mental stamina and the physical endurance to crush it, to stay ahead. Because you've all been sick before, or like me, maybe been hurt. And you know when that happens, you fall behind. So take care of yourselves. Eat well, sleep well, work out, move around. Get up off the chair once in a while and really celebrate the energy that you've been given. I also believe we've all been given a spirit, and that spirit doesn't play small. Right? Just because it's a smaller vessel doesn't mean that we can't expand. And your energy should be expanding if you want to grow this business. Can I get an amen on a Saturday, ladies and gentlemen?
Amen.
That's all. You got to protect your energy and grow your energy. Habit number 3, high performers raise necessity. Make sure you write this one down because it's a weird one. It's a strange one. It's a really strange word, but maybe I can give an example of it. High performers intellectually and mentally raise the necessity for success. In other words, they tell themselves, it is necessary that I succeed here. And it's not like a preference, it's real in their body. It's like, it's necessary I get ahead now. It's necessary I contribute well here. It's necessary I do a good job. It is necessary I fight for my family now. Necessity is driving them in a positive way. And I'm not the first one to tell you. Remember Les Brown? Les Brown said, you gotta be
Hungry!
You gotta be hungry for success. That's necessity. I'll give you an example. If the world knows me for something, it's usually books. I've had 6 huge monster best-selling books from the kid who couldn't write. And I got a picture of the kid who couldn't write. That was the time of my life. I'd left a safe job to follow my dream, to be a writer and a coach and a speaker. And the truth was, I didn't know what I was doing. I failed to seek clarity and ask for help. I didn't manage my energy, so I was always depressed and down because I was going broke. I had no money. Ultimately, my girlfriend took that picture. After I moved in with her, we were in San Francisco and broke. And you know what? San Francisco's a crappy town to be broke in. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna be broke, just don't be broke in San Francisco. That place sucks when you're broke. I mean, my gosh. We had nothing. I had to move in with her. I moved in with a bunch of boxes of books, because that's all I ever had. Books always saved my life. I moved in with her, and I decided I was gonna write a book. And for weeks and months, I would kind of fake it. I would go to the fancy cafes in California where the fancy famous writers wrote. And I would sit down and I would go up to the fancy counter and I would get a fancy $7 green tea and a $6 croissant. And I would go back down, I'd sit next there and I'd look around, everyone's typing along, and I'd kind of type a page or a half a page, and then I'd look around, everyone's still typing, and I'm like, oh, I'd eat another croissant, and I'd sit there and nothing was happening. And I go, you know what, I'm not feeling it. I don't feel inspired. So I better go, I'll go walk around the park, or I'll go read in the bookstore, I'll go seek inspiration outside of me. And this goes on for weeks and months, and I'm just not writing and just not getting it done. Weeks and months are going by, faking it, telling myself I gotta get inspired someday, waiting for inspiration. And then in that process, I went bankrupt. Didn't make any money. Had nothing. That picture you saw, it was just, when I moved in at that point with my girlfriend, all it was a little fold-out 3-legged table I borrowed from my mom's sewing room. She used to have a sewing room table on it. Put it on there. The apartment was so small, there wasn't really any desk, just that little table. So on the bed, I put my bills, I put my invoices, my vision boards, my research, the bankruptcy papers. And one night I'm writing on the little fold-out desk, and my lady, Denise, comes in. She walks around and she's trying not to disturb me because I'm finally writing. Oh, I'm sure she's thinking, thank God he's writing. She goes around, trying not to disturb me. I'm tapping away, and I look over and I just happen to see her crawl under the covers to go to bed. She doesn't want to disturb the things on top of her, and I appreciate that in a moment. And I look over and then it kind of hits me. And I'm watching my lady, my life, my love, my sunshine, my woman, sleep under the weight of my bills. Literally sleeping under my bills. And it was just like, it just like snapped something in me, but in a good way. Because I looked over and none of us in this room want to be the cause of pain for our loved ones because of our own inaction. None of us want to be the cause of pain of our loved ones because of our own inaction. And I looked over and I said, never again. This is going to get done, because now it was psychological. It was necessary for me to get this done. Because how many of you will do something more for other people than you do for yourself? So I was like, and I just started writing all night. I stayed up all night writing, because when she was going to get up, I was going to have progress. 15 days, write, all day, just write. Wrote a book called Life's Golden Ticket that changed our life forever in 6, 7 months, 9 months writing, nothing happens. I see her suffer, 15 days. That book is done and on the bestseller list a month later. Why? Because of necessity. So here's something to write down or take a picture of, this slide right here. Every day, ask yourself, who needs me on my A game? Why is it necessary that I serve with excellence today? Because that's what high performers do. They're wondering how to be extraordinary for other people. They want to serve, they want to lead, they want to take care of other people. That's the stuff of necessity.